From the beginning of times, humans have lived and worked in Africa, and they have left evidence of their existence in deserts and the valleys of great rivers. Some of the greatest civilizations were born there. The Nubians are one of the great makers of African history. They give us insights into some of the smaller kingdoms of ancient Africa.
Walipotoka Sudan, walikuja kama askari na wakaajiriwa, muda baada muda wakapewa ardhi hii.
The Nubians trace their origin to the early inhabitants of the central Nile Valley in southern Egypt. Nubians are believed to be one of the earliest cradle of civilization. The word Nubia comes from the word Nub, which means gold for the number of gold mines in the area, rare stones, and the home of some of the most beautiful and majestic monuments in Egypt. When you talk about the powerful kingdoms of Egypt, Nubians cannot miss in the script. King Alara developed a strong and fierce military with stellar military tactics, especially in archery. They were known as the legendary warriors of the Magi. The tribe's military prowess instilled fear in the hearts of its opponents. History records that Alara, the king of Kush or Nubia, conquered Egypt in the 8th century BC and formed the 25th dynasty. This gives the reason why the Nubians are considered to be one of the oldest ethnic tribes in the world, known for their kind nature, great hospitality, and their possession of rich history and enchanting culture. Nubians have sustained their traditions in the face of encroaching modernity.
We have groups that represent the older generation, and in these groups we have infused with the younger people so that they learn from what their mothers and their grandmothers have taught to them. So this is a continuation of the Nubian culture being passed from one generation to the other, like in day-to-day life. And even if you see our lifestyle, the way we live, we still do, most of our events are still communal, like our weddings are community weddings. Even the way we live up to date, like a new bride, in most cases, they still go to live in the family house, which does not happen with most of the other people because they are losing their culture.
Kama kuna sherehe, kama kuna nini, hawezi kuvaa nguo mfupi. Lazima wavae nguo, hiyo nguo yetu ya kitamaduni. Kama kuna mahali sherehe yetu ya Kinubi, lazima wavae nini, wavae mavazi yetu.
Wakati ule Kibira ilikuwa Wanubi peke yao, na tamaduni ilikuwa hakuna wasiwasi ndani yake, ilikuwa Wanubi peke yake. Lakini kwa sababu ya maendeleo na Kibira ni katika sehemu moja wa Nairobi, sasa ikawa wananchi wengine wanakuja wanakodisha, basi sasa ikawa sasa kusanyiko ile kidogo ilitaka kubadilisha nini utamaduni wetu.
Vijana wamelegea sana upande wa kuhifadhi kwanza hata lugha yetu. Wengi wameanza kusahau kuzungumza lugha yetu,
The truth is, in Kenya, we are marginalized and minority. That is the reality. Of course, when you go to places like Sudan and Egypt, Nubians are not minorities. They are one of the major tribes, actually. So, but in Kenya, we are minorities and we are marginalized.
To cement these, Nubians have been congregating during the annual Nubian Cultural Festival, dubbed Sabala Festival, to mark and celebrate their rich history and heritage.
First, it was launched as Nubian Night. That was in 2016. And then it moved to Grand Nubian Cultural Night. With time, we repackaged the event. So in 2016, we relaunched the event to Sabala Fest. Sabala is a Nubian word for the climax of the dance. That's what Sabala means. So basically, as you know, most of the young people always detach from their culture. And in all our villages, we have our cultural practices going on. But you see, most young people don't associate with it. But now I sat down and thought, what's the best thing we can be able to do to get the young people attracted to their culture? So I had to package Sabala. As you can see, Sabala does not take place in Kibra or any village. We take it to places like Bomas of Kenya. Like this year, it will be at the KICC. We've done it at the Carnival. Posh, nice places that the young people like. That is how we got them there. In fact, when you come to Sabala Fest, 80% of the people you'll find there are young people. Only the 20% utapata ni watu wazima. So it has helped a lot. It's one event that the entire Nubian community look forward for. People travel from as far as Uganda, as far as Tanzania, as far as Sudan, as far as even the UK. There are some people who travel because it happens once every year. So it has really helped us to be able to preserve our culture.
Even though the Nubians reside in different countries in Africa, the Nubians uphold their traditional values with pride in their culture and their languages, which are highly cherished and preserved.
Angishulu fursa de kualiketa kumfi hafla taina tanubi abikum fi KICC tariki 24 sharta itnashar minsa itnashar lagadi minsubu.
Hiyo festival ya Sabala inakuja, mimi ndasema ni muhimu kwangu kwa sababu inajiunga na watu tofauti na inafanya culture yangu at least inakuwa juu. Alafu nafurahia kwa sababu ni kitu inafanya culture yetu inakuwa na uzito. Ingawaji tulikuwa tumesaulika sana kama wajamii ya Kinubi, but venye the more tunaendelea na hii culture yetu unaona tunaendelea pazuri na at least tunaendelea tukijulikana angalau.
Saa nyingine tunaendaga Uganda kwa hiyo function ya culture. Wanubi wa Uganda, Wanubi wa Kenya, sisi sote tukienda huko tunakutana, tunaanza kwa kusomea watoto wetu, fanyeni hivi, kwa sababu sasa tumekuwa wazee. Sasa lazima watoto tuwafunze.
This is the only way we can bring our youngsters together and try as much as possible to put them together in as to bring out our culture, to still keep it in touch through all these years. So through our songs and our way of dressing and our mode of communication through the songs and everything, we still keep the Nubian culture intact.
The Nubians are highly skilled artisans in their decorative art, stunning drawings, enchanting pottery, and mesmerizing handcrafts, weaving of baskets, mats from palm fronds, and necklaces. These are statements of their multifaceted culture.
This is our traditional symbol for a typical Nubian bride. We call it the wadi, and it is pure gold, by the way. From that you can see this two bunch of red threads that are falling by the sides of her face, and attached to it are some beads which we call suksuk. All these are to make our bride look more natural and more beautiful. We inherited this from our ancestors, by the way. As we go down, there is this bit that is covering from her head going downwards. We call it the Nubian tob, that is supposed to cover her whole body. Underneath the tob, there is this dress that we call the gemis. And down, as you can see, there is the third part of the attire that is called the gurbaba. So these three combined is what the Nubian lady takes pride of. Like, this is our traditional wear. And on the side of Amisa, you can see there is this used as the cover. We call it the kuta. The kuta serves so many purposes. It is used for covering dishes. At the same time, it is used as a form of decoration in your house. In a typical Nubian home, you will find this kuta hanged on the wall. It is also a symbol of our tradition. And during weddings, when the groom's procession is going to visit the bride's home, normally we have what we take to the bride's home in form of presents. We call it the sela. So the sela is also put under the kuta. And this is called the tabaga. It serves like a tray, and at the same time it serves like a holder. Let's say when you want to serve people food, snacks, refreshment in a Nubian home, this is how you serve it. You keep it in a kuta, then cover it with a tabaga. The same thing happens during our weddings when the procession is visiting the bride's home. This is where we keep our gifts well wrapped, and we cover it with the kuta.
In terms of fashion, the figure on their dresses assigns symbolic values to the wearer.
This is our traditional day-to-day dressing. Now, the only difference is how you play about with the colors. Of course, when it's a wedding, you ought to be more colorful than when you're attending a funeral. Yes. Plus, the bit you see on my neck, like what we have on Amisa's neck and her hands, this is what we call the suk-suk. So this is for happy occasions mostly.
Sisi jamii wa Kinubi walio hapa wote ni Waislamu. Kwa hivyo mila yetu na dini yetu imeshikana kabisa. Na tunataka dumishe hiyo mila, maana tunaona kuna maadilifu kadhaa ambayo tunataka kushikilia.
If you don't engage the young people, if you don't show them the way, that is the end of the culture. A culture cannot just be exclusive with a certain age. The moment you just say it's for the old people, meaning once they die, the culture is dead. So we need to work out and bring the young people close. We show them the importance of their culture, because your culture is the way of life.
As a brand ambassador, I sell the culture through influencers and business people.
Another critical aspect of the giver and taker relationship between the tribe and outer world is intergenerational forums where the old and the young camp under the stars and share stories and knowledge about the Nubian history and tradition, inculcating the rich knowledge into the young generation's nervous system.
Kuna maadilifu kadhaa ambayo tunataka kushikilia. Kama unavyoona dada yetu hapa alivyovaa, hii ndio vazi rasmi la msichana wa Kinubi au mwanamke wa Kinubi. Mzee alivyovaa pia ndio vazi rasmi la mtu mwanaume. Mimi nimevaa jeans kwa sababu labda mimi ni yanga kidogo na niko nyumbani, sijatoka nje. Mambo mengine ambayo tunataka kudumisha na kuwezesha watu wetu kufanya ni kwamba hapo mbeleni tulikuwa tumeachwa nyuma sana kwa upande wa masomo. Lakini sasa tunatia bidii. Nataka vijana wetu na wasichana wetu wasome na wajifunze taaluma tofauti ili waweze kupata ajira katika dunia sasa.
Ukiona katika sehemu ya Kibira sasa wazee ni wachache sana. Wazee ambao walikuwa wanajua sehemu ya hii Kibira watu walikuwa naishi namna gani na wanakaa namna gani ni wachache sana. Sasa nguvu yao kidogo, lakini wanajaribu kuingia tu kueleza watu lazima mila na dini lazima ifuatiliwe.
Utamaduni tulikuwa tunafunza na wakina mama ambao wanatuweka pamoja, wanatufunza vile watu tufanye hivi hapo na hivi.
I appreciate our forefathers and our grandmas and our people from our own hood. They continue. I can see the continuity of the culture because we always have weddings now and then, and through the weddings is when we learn our culture.
In this year's festival, the Nubian natives in Kenya and East Africa will be celebrating their rich traditions, crowned with dances, food, and fashion expos.
Basically, also we sing according to the occasion, and being a Sabala means that it's a happy occasion. So definitely we'll have happy songs that will remind us of our heritage, of our culture, of our existence.
The foods will be there. You'll be selling the foods and the attire. Our attires are also expensive. They cannot be worn anyhowly unless it's on a wedding day.
Ukiona culture mingi sasa inarudi chini, lakini sisi tumeishikilia hiyo culture yetu ya Kinubi isipotee. Tunajaribu kupandisha, yani hata wale wanakuja nyuma yetu wasisahau, yani tuendelee hivyo, ni kitu isiwahi saulika kabisa.
The event was held first in 2006 and has since been hosted annually. This year's edition offers the Nubian nation a unique opportunity to share and experience the pride and strength of Nubian culture, fostering unity, promoting rich culture, and exploring economic empowerment opportunities for the Nubians.
Sabala night, wacha waende waiga mfano ya Wanubi vile iko. Wale watoto wetu wadogo, sisi tumeshakuwa wazee, lazima waende kwa hiyo function. Na wengine pia watawaambia hata watu wengine wale si Wanubi waje naye waangalie nini kitamaduni yetu ya Wanubi.
And we'll be having top Nubian musicians. That is from Uganda. We have Madfire, we have Kashfa, we have Maktub, we have Amina Bojo. In Kenya, we have Ajuma Bey, we have Jidibaji, we have the Sister Club, we have the Sports Club, we have the Safina. We have all the top Nubian musicians that will be performing that day. We have a fashion show to showcase Nubian attires, Nubian delicacies, and many more. I think you just have to come on 24th at the KICC and see for yourself. And we call it's Africa's biggest festival. If you want to know why it's called that, you should come and witness for yourself.
Nashukuru sana serikali kwa vile wameweka sisi na wananchi wa Kenya. Sasa ndio tunatambua kweli, bila shaka sisi ni wananchi wa Kenya, kwa sababu yale ambao wananchi wa Kenya tulikuwa tumewachiliwa, sasa tumeanza kuwa pamoja. Basi sasa alhamdulillah tunashukuru, tunaendelea na.
It's time. Nubians, we are Kenyans, we are rightfully Kenyans, and I believe we deserve to be gazetted as an official tribe of this great nation. Uhuru Kenyatta played his part, and he made sure he gave us the title D, and we are truly grateful. And I believe His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto will work it out with the relevant authorities and make sure we are officially gazetted as a tribe in Kenya.
Asmataituma angikelem na mnubi kulu tafadhalkum tarehe 24 na fima Sabala night nagikaribisha itakumkulu keta kumtala bara keta kumjai na desturi tena tanubi makalama tena tanubi angomba neta kumnubi alfikila bakan na gomba keta kumkutana mina kena jumuika pamoja inshallah.
And we'll be able to achieve more only if we stand together. United we stand, divided we fall.
In the honor of Nubian heritage, UNESCO built the infamous Nubian Museum in Aswan to bring Nubian culture back to life, as it was constructed based on Nubian architecture and ancient sandstone, and holds about 2,000 artifacts, many of which are from ancient Nubian culture, and a lot of colorful exhibits from the Nubian heritage. For Culture Quest, I'm Levis Msumba.